Hello YouTube, this is a video response to Timewarp James. I was kindly tagged in his video relating to the first video game console that you bought with your own money. And he mentioned my name in there and he would like to see a video. And he did a VR response to someone I didn't know on YouTube called PompeyGamesRoom. I've recently subbed to him and started looking forward to checking out his videos. He seems like a really nice, down-to-earth guy. And yeah, real nice chap, so I'm looking forward to making my way through his channel. I'll leave a link to James's video response below, as well as PompeyGamesRoom's original VR request. Now, I did a video probably a few videos back now, but fairly recently, where I covered this and stated that this was the first console that I bought with my own money, and it was way back in 1997 when I was 19 and a half years old, and that should give it away a little bit. And it was the N64, and yeah, this thing was very pricey when it came out. Now at this time, like I said, I was 19 and a half years old, living with mum and dad. I had a garage conversion. So I was out in the outhouse, out in the garage, where I would always get friends up for good times, drinking, stuff like that. Obviously, being 19 years old, all these things were sort of going hand in hand. Previously to this console, I owned the Super Nintendo, but was fully aware that the PlayStation was out, and the birth of 3D gaming, which I don't think we're going to see that kind of leap from 16-bit 2D graphics to 3D ever again. You know, graphics are obviously getting better from generation to generation, but the visual difference between each generation is kind of narrowing, and maybe VR will be the next true big leap, you could argue. But yeah, I was aware of the PlayStation that came out, and I was blown away by that, playing Tomb Raider, Tekken upon my friend's farm. He had a farm that was quite close to where I lived with my mum and dad at the time. But I was kind of waiting for what Nintendo was going to do next. So I absolutely loved the Super Nintendo, probably my favourite console of all time. And I was just, my mind was going crazy with what Nintendo would be doing with all their IPs in 3 dimensions. And obviously this was prior to the internet proper, or at least it was just on the cusp. My mate at the farm actually had the internet, but I didn't have it yet. So information was just through word of mouth, through magazines, and maybe the odd gaming channel that was on TV. But yeah, really keen to see what Nintendo were going to do. This was codenamed the Ultra 64 back then, and that's the emblem that I remember seeing. And for some reason, I just kind of, there was like a gap when I didn't really have my finger on the pulse. I didn't know when Nintendo would be bringing this thing out, what the schedule typically was for releasing consoles, because again, up to this point, I had these consoles bought for me, usually second hand, for like a birthday or a Christmas present with a bundle of games. So I didn't know how things worked at launch. I always got them later on. But anyway, I was 19 years old, living at mum and dad's, and I at that time was going to art college, which was in the city centre. And on my lunch breaks and other breaks that I would just take from art college, I would just walk into town and walk around some of the shops. And I noticed as I was walking down to Toys R Us, or when I was in Toys R Us, shall I say, quite an entourage of people around. When you went in, you had a video game section there, and I sort of could see this kerfuffle of, you know, quite young kids there with like the old mum and dad and older kids. And I was like, what's going on over there? So I went over and I could see on the marquee top it said N64, and my eyes sort of lit up, and I sort of ran over there with all these kids there, and like, you know, waiting for little Johnny to get off the machine so I could have a go. And I could see Mario 64 being played. And here it is. And my jaw just dropped. seeing this thing, and from seeing it, eventually playing, I don't know if I had the time to play it that day. I think I had to get back to college. It was running near the end of my lunchtime, so I had to get back, and I was like, right, I've definitely got to come back down here tomorrow to try and get on this game. Like I said, my jaw hit the floor. This thing looked incredible. I had a quick glimpse of the N64 control pad, which, you know, is very iconic. Whether or not you like it or not is up to you, is impartial. But for, no doubt for me, for the system, the N64 pad was excellent. And I know Nintendo designed the pad around the game Super Mario World 64 with the analog stick and things like that. Again, I think it's a great pad. But this was my new thing. And so I started to try and find out information as to when it was coming out. I think they had flyers in there, or a sticker on the marquee or on the cab as to when this was coming out, and they were taking pre-orders. But this was something like £250 back then, which was a lot of money in 1997, and I think that translates to almost something like £550 to today's money, so quite pricey. And I remember that night speaking to my then girlfriend on the phone and saying, you know, I've seen this console, I've definitely got to get this. And she was like, oh yeah, that sounds very nice. She knew I was a gamer and like my video games. And and then she wasn't best pleased, because when it actually come round to the thing being released, I put a pre-order in at Electronics Boutique, and I went in there and got that with one game, and I think I got another control pad. Did I get another control pad? I can't remember. Or did I leave it? No, for Mario, I think I just had the one control pad in the box, and then bought the game Mario, and the other games that come out were Pilot Wing 64. Was it Wave Race? No, that was afterwards. Oh, Shadows of the Empire, the Star Wars game. That looked quite good, but this was me. I had to get this game. And when I told my girlfriend that I've actually picked this up, she was. It did transpire that she's kind of annoyed with me for doing so, because we were saving up money to go. I think it was either Glastonbury or on our first holiday together, a little break. But we still did that anyway. But I was over the moon regardless. And like I say, this thing was very pricey. I was working at Tesco at the time with a Saturday job. Also, I was at college. My mum and dad were very good. They said, whilst you're at college, you don't need to pay us any rent or anything like that. So I had quite a bit of disposable income for alcohol, going out, clothes, video games and things like that. And around that time at Tesco, I was doing a lot of, during the summer holidays and things like that, I was doing graveyard shifts, so working all through the night from like 10 to 5, I think, in the morning, which I did all summer, and I earned, quite a good amount of money over those years. But yeah, as soon as I got this thing, absolutely loved it. I remember going out to numerous house parties and things, and whilst out at these house parties being really excited to get back to my garage, my garage conversion room, and playing this and playing it drunk, half cut, smoking some cigarettes. And it was just like a fantastic new world, this 3D world that Nintendo created for the Super Mario here. It was just mind blowing. Coming from 2D to this was such a fantastic jump, and the likes of it will never be seen again. And in March of 2022, next year, this thing will be 25 years old. 25 years old. Makes me feel so old. But this come around, it's such a important, great time in my life. It was kind of, adolescence, in a serious relationship with my then girlfriend, and going out partying and hanging out with the lads, and just good times, carefree, disposable income before the nonsense of moving out and having to pay bills and things. And yeah, just that sweet spot, carefree days. in the garage, lots of alcohol, great times. And then I think the game after this, I did pick up Star Wars. My friend at the time had Mario and Pilot Wings, so I borrowed Pilot Wings, which I really enjoyed as well. I loved Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo. But the next game I remember buying proper was Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and this came out in the launch window. I don't think it was in like the first couple weeks, or it was more like the first month or two, 3 months, I can't quite remember. But this game, for some reason, was like nearly 75, 80 quid, which is extortionate for back then. But again, you know, I had the money back then and I was buying these games brand new. I don't do that now. I haven't bought games brand new for a couple of generations now. I will make exception if it's a title that I really, really want to play. But those sort of games are rare as hen's teeth with the price of games now as well. They come down so quickly. But yeah, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, another fantastic game. And I think after that it was Star Fox 64 and Mario Kart, Diddy Kong, you know, things like that. But yeah, I've got great memories of this. I love the Rubenesque curvature of the N64. It's a bit cheapy looking, very plasticky. But I love the shape and the design of it as a whole. And like I said earlier, I like the controller, a great machine, good times. So that's my video response, people. Would love to hear a VR from yourselves, or just comment on what was your favourite or first console that you bought with your own money when you were earning a crust in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. Have a little chat, create the discussion. And yeah. Until next time, everyone take care out there, stay safe, and I'll see you again.